What's going on, everybody? DM Gaming here again, y'all, and we got a lot to talk about today. Um, wow, we've gotten a ton of news from Madden. If you haven't watched the new Need for Speed Payback trailer released today, I tried to do a video on it, but they won't let you upload the trailer, man. I tried to do that, and it was actually blocked worldwide, man. EA is on top of that. They don't want you uploading and sharing that. And I even turned monetization off. So I wasn't going to make any money from that or anything of that effect. I just wanted to share that with my audience who may not be subscribed to EA. And that's something that I want to kind of talk about for a little bit, because when they do the whole copyright thing, I understand that they do it so people aren't profiting off of it. But if you, like I said, turn monetization off on YouTube where you're not actually making money off of that, then what's the problem with that? You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of our subscribers in the community, in the DM gaming community, a lot of them aren't subscribed to EA Need for Speed. So they're not going to see that trailer. I would think, they would allow people to share that trailer to get the word out, wouldn't you? I would. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the trailer real quick. I didn't see much. I mean, they just kind of showed stuff from the story mode. But one thing that I did notice was drag racing. I missed drag racing, and it's back. Looked like it's going to be back in the new Need for Speed game. And I'm excited. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like previous drag racing where you're just on the street with real cars coming at you and stuff like that. I don't like that. If you watch shows like not Need for Speed, I'm sorry, Fast and the Furious, and you know drag racing, how underground drag racing operates, they block off the distance that those cars need to drive. And I really wish that they would do that in Need for Speed in the next one. But I digress. But anyway, y'all know what we're here for. Y'all know what y'all came here for. So let's talk a little bit about Madden NFL 18. So yesterday, we got a lot of information yesterday for Need for Speed. And with that being said, they talked about IDing the mic. Now, people without a football sense will say IDing the mic just means you identify the middle linebacker, but no. Football will tell you IDing the mic is basically, essentially, it's the focus point of the defense. For the offense, you're targeting a focus point for the defense. It's also used in blitz check. If you see a guy that looks like he's going to be blitzing and things of that nature. And they put this in the game to combat the nickel blitz that worked so well in last year's rendition of the game. And a couple of people commented, talking about could this mean that, people won't be able to blitz anymore and stuff. Well, the way that this game is shaping out, there's going to be risk and reward. Okay, so first of all, you got 3 different game modes. I'm starting to see how these game modes are going to play out. Arcade mode is going to be, just your run-of-the-mill, have fun, learn how to play the game type game mode. Simulation is going to be more realistic to the game of football in that the game is going to play off of the player's attributes and stats. Then competitive is going to be more user driven, skill driven. And I like that because when you're playing on competitive mode, it's more you're in control. So if something happens, then it's your fault. You see what I'm saying? Whereas simulation, you still rely a little bit off of the computer and things of that nature. In competitive mode, hey, it's all on you, And so with that being said, I see a lot of that in Madden. Risk versus reward. They talked about in Madden Ultimate Team Squads, and I hope that they put this in the regular game where the cornerbacks and wide receivers, battle it out in a sense, cornerback trying to get leverage, and I think that they will because Rex Dixon talked a lot about position advantages. He said that's going to be big. He said, remember that. And I think that that's more than just at the wide receiver cornerback position. I also think that's at the offensive, defensive line, things of that nature. So I'm extremely interested to see how that's going to play out. But with IDing the mic, we're in a situation now where it's risk versus reward, like we talked about yesterday with the wide receiver and the DB. Whoever wins that positional advantage, they're in a good position. Same thing with IDing the mic. If you ID the wrong mic, then, you're in big trouble. And that's one thing that we talked about yesterday in the live stream is that, people will say that, yeah, I want all this extra stuff added to the game. But if you look at what they're doing with Madden, by them just changing the gameplay, it's actually restructuring the entire game to fit what was there in the first place. For instance, show blitz. Okay, before people showed blitz, even if they weren't blitzing, I would even do it. I would show blitz to get my opponent, be it computer or a human opponent, to check out of the offense that they're in. Maybe audible. They're like, oh, he's going to blitz, so let me change it to this. You know what I'm saying? But now that they have ID the mic and that structures in a way how your offensive line performs or behaves, now doing that show blitz takes on a completely different meaning. You get what I'm saying? And same thing with cornerbacks and wide receivers. You now get to really pay attention to that press and release attribute on those players. One thing that I talked about with a good friend of mine, he goes by the GOAT. Shout out to you, GOAT. One thing that he talked about yesterday in the comment section was that footwork. He said, that seems all well and fine, but what about the footwork? Like, that needs to play a factor, and it does in the offensive defensive line. And I remember back then, Madden used to actually have an attribute stat for footwork for the offense and defensive linemen. I really feel like this year in Madden, attributes are really going to matter, where in previous renditions of the game, yeah, it was there, but it didn't really make a difference. Not even in the speed category, if you ask me personally. I'd like to see some changes in that. Y'all know how I feel about that. I feel like speed shouldn't be listed as a 0 to 99 trait. It should be listed as a clear 40-time trait to give a more realistic sense of speed, or rather acceleration, and stamina and endurance should play out in speed, something to that effect. I'd like to see actual 40 times for the players, stuff like that, instead of 0 to 99. To me, that gives more of a true sense of how fast this player is, But be that as it may, by them adding ID the mic to the game, that to me, that's a game changer already. Now, we already know that they are going to make improvements to how the offensive line and defensive line behaves. So, that's to be expected. One thing that I try to tell people is that, the gameplay reveal trailer. People are looking at those reveal trailers in the wrong way. They're looking at those reveal trailers as, this is the game. This is what it's going to look like. No, it's a reveal teaser trailer. It's teasing you on stuff that they're going to put in the game. And I've watched this so many times that I can walk you through it, and we're going to do that. Okay, so the trailer starts out with Tom Brady. It actually starts out showing the outside of a stadium. Now, mind you, at the bottom, it says that this is representative of actual gameplay. So take this with a grain of salt, meaning, yeah, it's you'll see some of this stuff in the game. It's basically telling you that they use the engine to make this. However, the actual game could differ as far as how it looks and behaves. So you open up with the outside of the stadium, and they say with the Frostbite engine that they're going to show the cityscape and things like that at the stadiums. And we even saw this later on with the story mode part of the trailer, in that how it was showing in story mode, when he's looking over outside of the stadium. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, That's nothing new to Madden. That's nothing new. In previous Madden renditions of the game, they have had it to where uh, the game would start out and you see the outside of the stadium, and then you come through the doors and you're inside the stadium. They would even show people walking outside, cars driving by. That's nothing new. What's new about it is how it looks with the graphics. Okay, so after that, you go through and you see Tom Brady. I mean, in between these scenes, they're showing you clips of an offensive line and defensive line battle. And what's interesting, and GOAT, if you listen to this, this may answer your question. If you notice, they're showing the feet of the defensive line and offensive linemen. They do show the upper body part, but they show the feet. And what's interesting about that is, could we see a return of footwork being an attribute for the offense and defensive line? GOAT, if you're listening, buddy, I think you're right, man. I think we may actually see the return of that attribute. I think that may actually play a factor, because why else show it? They're not showing off their cleats. Everybody knows offensive linemen and defensive linemen have some of the most unattractive cleats. They have very generic cleats. So it's not to show off the cleats. It's to show off that footwork is going to play a factor. Not only that, but then later they show, a quick clip of the upper body of the offensive defensive line. Why? Because swim moves and things of that nature are going to play a bigger factor in the game. See, the trailer is a reveal trailer. You just have to know what to look for. And then after that, they show Tom Brady walking through the tunnel, fireworks going off, the crowd cheering. Now, people wonder, is this actual in-game? Yes and no. While player entrances are making a return in Madden 18, you're not going to, I don't think they'll look that good in the game. If they do, which I hope that I'm wrong, because, man, that would be sick if it looked that good. But I really think, how you first turn on the game and you're sitting there, you see Gronkowski in 17, how they had the little cut scenes of him catching the ball and all that kind of stuff. I really think more or less that's what, that's going to be, kind of like the intro thing to the game. But that stuff will be in the game as well. Just probably not look that good. I don't know. We will see. I hope it does. All right. Then after that, you see a shot of Josh Norman walking. All right. And then they also show one of Antonio Brown. I'm sorry, Antonio Brown. And what that's introducing to you is what Rex Dixon talked about with the positional advantages, really with the secondary. They're improving how the cornerbacks and wide receivers behave at the line of scrimmage. And it all ties in because they talked about target passing. And with target passing, you're able to put the ball in a certain spot. You don't have to throw to a wide receiver. Now, people don't get up in arms because I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a feature that you can turn off and on, okay? So don't worry about, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to, how is this going to work? It's going to be something that you toggle off and on. So like if you have target passing, and this is my prediction, and Trevor, if you're listening, buddy, I'm good at this. My prediction is that when target passing is on, you're not going to see the buttons like the icons, triangle, square, circle, X. So when target passing is on, I would like to think you're moving your quarterback with the left stick. You're moving that target. I would like to think it as a crosshair. Some people said, are they going to use quarterback cones? I don't think you're going to use a cone, like the quarterback vision cone that they used. I hope not, because that to me is distracting of the gameplay and it takes away from the graphics of the game to me. So I would like to think maybe like some kind of crosshair type of thing, but hey, it may be some kind of cone. That could work as well because you're throwing to a spot on the field. So yeah, it could be a cone. But don't expect like the wide, like vision type cone to where it used to be, because that's showing quarterback vision. But it could be a narrow cone to where you're aiming at a spot on the field. But like I'm saying, when target passing is on, you're not going to see icons pop up over the receiver's heads. You may see a crosshair or a narrow type of vision cone in the game. And maybe, you push the X button to throw that football. You see what I'm saying? Or you push a button, a signed button to throw that football in that area. You see what I'm saying? Now, I know what people are going to say. Well, if you're using the R stick to control the quarterback, how are you going to do quarterback avoidance in the pocket? And that's very interesting. Because first of all, we know that you're going to have to aim the target passing system. So me personally, I believe that maybe they changed that to maybe the trigger buttons or a different button or something to that effect. We'll see. But what I'm talking about is how are they going to operate target passing? Basically, it's not going to be something that everybody's forced to do. It's going to be something that you turn off or on in the option. And target passing, I'm going to tell you, it's not for everybody. Rex Dixon even said it. You're going to throw a lot of interceptions starting out with it because it takes some skill. It's a skill thing. And I love it. I'm excited about it. He said you could put in thousands of hours on this and perfect it and be great at it. And if you're good at it, it's going to pay off tremendously for you. My thing is this with target passing, if they can add this, that maybe it is some type of cone thing and the secondary actually plays off of where your quarterback is looking. So you can look to the right side of the field and all along you're seeing the whole screen and you know a route's coming back to the left side of the field. So you look back and throw it that way after you've looked off the safeties. I think that'd be phenomenal. You see how that plays a factor in everything? You see how that changes the gameplay? That target passing? Okay, so back to the trailer. You know, you see, like I said, Josh Norman and Antonio Brown, and they show Antonio Brown making a catch. And that's where positional advantages come in because he's making the catch on the defender and the defender has his back turned, which is realistic because if his back is turned to the ball, he doesn't know where the ball is at. He can't truly make a play on that ball like he needs to. You see what I'm saying? And so same thing with Josh Norman. They flashed to him with a catch over Dez Bryant. And it looks like the ball is overthrown. But Norman is on top of Dez. So he makes that catch. Why? Because target passing plays a factor. If your quarterback's accuracy or stuff is bad and you put it in that area, remember, you're throwing to a spot on the field. You see what I'm saying? So they're showing target passing without even showing it. You see what I'm saying? Same thing with Antonio Brown's catch. That ball was put in a perfect spot where only he could get it. I'm extremely interested in seeing that. All right. Then they also show a flash of Ezekiel Elliott at the line of scrimmage. And one thing is interesting to note is that the defender is clearly behind the line of scrimmage. He's in the backfield because you can see the other two offensive linemen in the foreground or in the background. And Ezekiel Elliott is making this wicked spin move. Stiff arms combination thing to get past this guy. And that's letting us know that long gone are the days where your running back gets the ball in the backfield and he's immediately tackled. Like there's nothing you can do. The animation just plays out. See, all of this is a reveal trailer. These are things that you see in the reveal trailer. And people are saying, well, why does Josh Norman not have his sleeve on? Well, because they add that stuff at the end of the game when they're finishing up the game because they put the game together first and then they add all of the smaller stuff like that into the game. Doesn't matter to add a sleeve on Josh Norman if he's playing, if the game is not even done. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like putting hot dog on your bun before you put the hot dog in there. No, you put the hot dog in the bun first and then you add your topping. You see? And one thing that I pointed out to people in the live stream was when you see like Antonio Brown making these catches and stuff like that, if you look over to the sideline, it's empty. There's nobody on the sideline. There's no players on the sidelines. There's no photography crew or anything like that, which is very interesting too, because what if they improve that with the Frostbite engine? They're definitely going to be capable of doing that. Maybe long gone are the days of clunky players on the sideline. Maybe we actually get real, true players on the sideline. You see the offense on the field and the defense over there having positional meetings and things of that nature. Maybe we get to finally see that. And then, the trailer flashes to, Tom Brady, celebrating, I guess, a touchdown pass or something to that effect, because they're going to improve quarterback play with the target passing system. You're going to be in a position in this game, if you put your settings to that effect, where you basically, if something happens, it's because of you, good or bad. And I like that. The year of the user, putting it in our hands. And I can only speculate and guess as to how that's going to play out in franchise mode, because before I kind of felt like they left franchise mode in the back. But I don't think that they did. I think they have some pretty huge surprises for us when it comes to franchise mode. We can only wait and find out, as we are, about a week away from EA Play and E3. Man, this weekend is going to be phenomenal. And so now it flashes over to the story mode, which we know story mode's in. We speculated that and we were right on it. And what's interesting about story mode is he's walking up to the window, and if you see, he's in a hotel room with 2 beds. On the back bed is a backpack, is a bag of some sort. And he looks out the window to Lucas Oil Stadium. Why? Because it's the night before the NFL draft. That's the only thing I could think about. It's, because it's not about him going to watch Tom Brady play or something to that effect, because it's not New England State. No. Now the question arises, what happened before that? Are we going to find out what led up to that? Because I guarantee you the story's not going to start right there. The story could be well before that. We could actually see, like I said in one video, a possible demo for NCAA. Perhaps you start off in the playoffs, in the NCAA playoffs, Or who knows? Maybe they take a page out of NCAA's playbook and you get to play an entire season of college football. Now, that would require them to get licensing from the schools to be able to use their likenesses and image, which they could very well do that, like NBA 2K did, or they could do it in the playoffs, to where that way you only have to get school approval to use their names and likenesses for, 4 teams, as opposed to paying the entire NCAA, which I think that's the route that they go. I think we start off in the playoffs, NCAA playoffs. And then from there, maybe, hey, you get to actually do the combine, which I believe we will. Or what about or maybe you start off at some kind of all-star game. Not the Senior Bowl, because you'd have to put the teams in there. Maybe like the East and West Shrine game, or North versus South, or some kind of college all-star game where how you play affects your draft stock. That's what a lot of people are interested in. We want control over our draft stock, not only in story mode, but even in career mode. And I've been telling people I don't see them putting that power and control in story mode and not putting it in career mode, because let's remember what he said. Madden 18 is the year of the user. So I think that bleeds over even into franchise mode and career mode, especially a career/superstar mode, where everything that you do affects you. You get to affect your draft stock. You get to control how your player progresses. Not necessarily where they get drafted, but where you fall in the draft is going to be completely in your control. Trevor, mark that down. So when they reveal it, we can say that you heard it here first. You see? So now that the pieces are starting to come together for Madden 18, it's beginning to look like a freaking Mona Lisa of Madden games. And, where before we kind of felt left out on certain stuff, it's starting to look like, hey, maybe not so. Maybe that's not so. Maybe everybody gets a big piece. And like I said, I think that plays a large part with the Frostbite engine, but not only that, but with the game being on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It's not being held back by last generation consoles. So we get to see a lot more in the game. And what's amazing about this is this. They're going to be able to do a lot more for the game in the future. So as great as I feel like 18 is going to be, Madden 19 and 20 and going forward are going to be even better. Expect more with presentation and stuff like that. I've told people, I don't think we're going to see so much from a presentation standpoint any different, because Larry Ridley and the commentators that did Madden in 17, they're doing it in 18, and they've already finished their recording. So I don't expect a real halftime show. I don't expect a post game wrap up show or anything like that, a weekly wrap up show, because I don't see anybody else tweeting about, hey, I just finished voice recording for Madden 18. Or, maybe they're just trying to keep that under wraps. Who knows? I hope that they surprise us. But I don't think so. We'll just have to wait and see for that. But that's all I got for right now, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at DorseyMade87. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at DM Gaming. It's the website link is www.youtube.com/C/DM Gaming 06. That way you can watch our live streams, tune in and talk and chat with us as well. And follow us and subscribe to us on Twitch. Twitch.tv/DM Gaming 06. That's all we got for right now, y'all. Tune in tomorrow. Till next time, and God bless.